Letter by Dr. John Hall. Non-consensual experimentation with electromagnetic weapons. To whom it may concern. I am writing you on the behalf of victims both in the United States and abroad. As you are aware, many revelations surrounding the National Security Agency's extensive electronic dragnet have recently come to light through released records by the intelligence insider Mr. Edward Snowden. During the course of the Libe Committee hearings, even more first-hand testimony was heard from other former NSA insiders regarding the extent of NSA privacy invasion and lack of oversight regarding their methods of data collection. Their statements begin to come very close to an issue that those of us in the medical community in the United States and abroad have been keenly watching for several years now. Over the last decade, we have seen a sharp rise in the number of people coming forward with complaints of non-consensual experimentation with electromagnetic weapons designed to target both electronic hardware and the human central nervous system. While this was typically disregarded as mental illness in the past, the total global population voicing these identical complaints has exponentially grown to numbers that can no longer be attributed to delusional disorder, schizophrenia, or any other described mental illness. You may be unaware that the safeguards against experimenting on the public without their consent in the United States are very lax and are included in legislation referred to as the Common Rule, which is the federal policy regarding human subjects protection. It is written with several loopholes for the allowance of non-consensual experimentation, mostly by intelligence agencies. Hence, we have seen the necessity for the Bioethics Commission hearings in the United States after it was brought to light that Guatemalan prisoners were experimented on with contagions by the National Institutes of Health. During the course of the bioethics hearings, their directive was to determine if any other non-consensual experimentation was ongoing in the United States or abroad. At each of the 4 meetings there was included a public forum for the committee to address concerns by the public at large. Over 100 individuals were in attendance at each of the 4 meetings voicing complaints of exposure and experimentation with electromagnetic weapons technologies. The effects of these technologies on the human body can only be described as torture. Several years ago, another National Security Agency insider, John St. Clair Ockwai, described in detail the frequencies used by the NSA and other intelligence agencies to access and influence the human body and nervous system in his civil action against the NSA. His descriptions of technologies used to track, monitor and alter a subject's perceptions, moods and motor control are similar to the complaints we are hearing today from victims alleging non-consensual experimentation and torture. Moreover, Vladimir Putin, in a speech in 2012, admitted that Russia is following suit in funding development of weapons that will attack the human central nervous system. His defense minister, Anatoly Serdyukov, described the weapons as directed energy weapons, wave energy weapons, genetic weapons and psychotronic weapons based upon new physics principles. Obviously, Russia intends to go down the same path of directed energy weapons research that the United States has long been on. The unfortunate truth regarding this type of technology is the ease with which it can be used remotely and non-consensually on the public without the recommended safeguards of an institutional review board or any appreciable ethical oversight. In the United States, this research is typically done clandestinely under the guise of national security concerns, just as the NSA electronic data mining was done, which is currently being covered in the Libe Committee. Over the last decade, I have consulted with thousands of people in the United States complaining of exposure and experimentation with electromagnetic weapons technologies, which include, but are not limited to, complaints of mood alteration, heart palpitations, involuntary body movements, severe headaches, blurred vision, burns to the skin, non-consensual microchipping and neurocognitive perturbation. It is my belief, based upon former and current publicly released government research documents as well as victims' complaints of torture, that this technology is being used in a non-consensual manner on the global public. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to you for meeting with our representative from the International Center Against Abuse of Covert Technologies and taking the time out of your busy schedule to hear these complaints and read my letter. On behalf of the whole of humanity, I sincerely hope that these technologies will eventually be addressed in the Subcommittee on Human Rights of the European Parliament, as the use of these currently can only be described as torture and dehumanizing. Dr. John R. Hall, D.O. San Antonio, Texas, USA. www.satweapons.com. If you need to learn more about dark medicine, visit CCHR. org and watch the videos provided there. How this is covered up by the mental health industry, the new industrial complex called mental health, and how it influences the judicial processes. In this use, how it can override rights. If by statistics of this industry, everyone is to be medicated, then you realize the loophole of total control. That is a process of further enslavement. If consensual for a better society, well maybe, but this is not with permission. Thanks for watching.